Good afternoon, everybody, or should I say good evening? Guys, this is Lines In. We're live, powered by Battleborn Batteries, and we are presented to you by our good friends over at Primary Tackle. I'm joined with my co-host tonight, Mr. David Best. David in the house. What's up, my friend? And he's muted because
Sorry, y'all. We're trying something new so that we're not screwing some things up, but then I screwed something up. So,
Yeah, I cued him. I gave him the muting responsibility on his end. So
yeah, I was trying to share the live on the primary tackle side. So
there you go. Well, man, dude, this is my favorite. One of my favorite times of the week. We're live and we're hanging out with our friends. We got some people joining in tonight, so we're always glad to see our viewers. Hope to see you guys in the comments tonight. Mr. David Walker, let's go. What's up, my friend? Dude, I'm stoked. We got some good guys coming on tonight, man. We got the WTBY season that is kicked off, and had a pretty good showing at Pickwick Lake, despite some serious brutal conditions, man. I just
not sad that I missed it.
I thought about you. Because I asked you if you were going to be fishing. We were talking at the shop, and you're like, "Dude, I'm done with the cold weather for this year."
I've had it with cold weather. I just don't. I could not bring myself, but I actually had to give Teresa a weekend off. She'd worked 3 weekends in a row, and I needed to be here. I haven't been here in a minute, and on the weekend to amount to nothing, so I had to stay.
Yeah, well, you made the right call for two good reasons. It was beyond brutal. It was funny because I was in there buying a second pair of the Rockfish gloves from you, and Teresa said, "Do you need any gloves for the winter?" And I was like, I love these gloves, but I don't think they're going to do me very good for the cold. And they didn't. These were the real thin ones. So
yeah,
I usually have a little setup that I do. I've got some kind of nylon gloves, or they're just kind of like doctors latex rubber gloves, but they're black and they're made for handling chemicals, so they're a lot tougher. They don't rip as easy.
Yeah.
And then I put a set of Cabela's guideware gloves, or the other set over the top of them. So you get the grip of the gloves and a little bit of warmth, but then you can still use your fingers, not lose feel in your fingers. But I did not have the neoprene, so it was tough. But it is over with. We got some warmer weather this week. It's looking great. I'm loving it. Got the daughter out playing in the park. We're running around like little kids, having a great time, man. It's summer. Summer cannot get here soon enough. But
yeah.
And you got some stuff in the store that we got to talk about that I feel like can really help out, or be beneficial for the people getting ready for this summer. So as always, what do you got going on in the store, Mr. David?
Store is busy as all get out. All kinds of different things going on. We've got a couple of new products. A good fishing one to start the show. It's from my buddy Richard Key. It's called the Money Saver. Basically, it's about the size of a AA battery. It's got a little metal clip in here. Put your line through there, thread it under your line, send it down. It'll basically knock the lure free the first time down. Typically, if it doesn't, you just drop your rod tip, let that thing go down a little bit, pop it up. It'll go up and then goes back down, hits the lure, and it'll knock it free. So $10. Don't have to save but 1 or 2 baits, and you've more than paid for itself.
I need that for sure.
Yeah. For those of y'all that don't have them, we have the Hobie tourney tags in. So great place to put your identifiers in. You can move it up and down. Great way to keep up with your identifier, keep it dry. We have those in now.
Let me ask you a question on that, David. That one, the banding on it that secures it to your bump board, what does that look like? Because, man, some of those, I just have trouble with keeping them tight enough.
This one is a lot better. I like this one. This is and I think this is different from the old Hobie design too. So it has the band, but it's a full length Velcro band. and you just got a little small piece. So you can take this thing and you can tighten it up as much as you want it. I had it tight enough I couldn't even slide it down the board a while ago. So I mean, I can slide it onto my hand and get it.
Oh man, that's the business. The Velcro has been the missing piece.
Yeah.
Because the other ones have just been that little buckle that you slide through, and somehow mine just always gets loose.
This thing works good. This is a really good one. And then we have a new set of products from Ice Mule here in the store, which these are really, really cool. So it's different styles and sizes of dry bag, which is what it looks like as a dry bag. But they're coolers. So it looks like a dry bag, but you wrap it up like a dry bag. It'll keep ice for 24 to 48 hours. Good Lord have mercy. I'm tired. It's been a long week.
And we've talked about these, and you said that's in direct sunlight, correct?
And that's in direct sunlight. They have backpack straps. So if you want to carry it around, it's easy. And they
strap that to the back of your kayak seat.
There you go.
Perfect. Does it have the horizontal buckles to
there you go.
Money.
Money.
It's the little things.
It's the little thing. And they do.
Clint Cropper said he'll take one of each already. So
they have the little standard, square styles. For my hunters, they have bigger ones and smaller ones that are in camos and that kind of thing. And then even for the casual guy who just wants something that they just throw in the kayak, they have just a single little strap one. Oh, they have air vents in them in order to pull the air in and out of it as well.
Oh, nice.
To help with your insulation and to make it smaller as you drink. As you finish drinking everything that's in there, and you want to keep making it smaller and smaller to get it out of your way in the kayak.
As you drink your water and your Gatorade out during a kayak tournament.
For water Gatorade. Yeah.
Right.
So, and then we'll also have
hydrate.
We'll also have the regular dry packs. So, all kinds of neat stuff. So, and look, we got a lot of that kind of neat stuff coming in the store. This spring, you're going to see a lot of different items in the stores in both stores that you haven't seen in a long time. Yeah. We've been working really hard in the off season trying to find as many new things as we can, different things that you see from anywhere else and that kind of stuff. And then, of course, we've got our St. Jude Kayak Bass Classic entry forms in the store as well. So you got to come get those entries sent in so we can get that all getting that all ready. Uh-oh, Justin? I think Justin's froze, y'all. Can anybody see us? Is it just me? Justin? I don't know if we're still live, y'all. So let me see if I can see this real quick. And maybe he's fixed to come back on. All right, so I guess I'm just going to talk for a little bit till Justin gets live again. So, but yeah, so we got all kinds of stuff going on. The new St. Jude Bass Tournament. I'm just going to talk about this for a second while we wait. We have first place is going to be a Hobie Passport 12 for $100 entry fee, guys. This is a great opportunity to make some money. Second place is going to be $500. Hang on, Justin's trying to call in. Hey, Justin. Oh, Justin. Yeah, I can hear you.
I just lost that. I've got internet, but I lost internet. I don't freaking get internet.
Well, I'm just talking about the St. Jude tournament because we're still live. So.
Are you really?
Yep.
I've got internet, but I lost internet. I
don't
know how you're still live. I completely exited out of the window.
Still running. So.
All right. If you're still live, go ahead.
All right. So anyway, guys, second place is 500, third place is 300, fourth place is 200, fifth place is 100. We're going to limit it to We're going to limit it to 100 kayaks this year. We may do it bigger next year. We're going to be holding it on Enid in conjunction at the same time as the St. Jude Bass Classic's going on Sardis. And for those of you guys that don't know it, Sardis, that tournament has been held for 49 years. Next year will be the 50th. We'll probably open it up to more kayaks next year. Me and Justin kind of want to just get the first one under our belt without overwhelming us with too many boats to have to deal with and judge and that kind of thing. So looking really forward to this event. We want to make this thing as big as we can. We'd love to raise somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 for St. Jude. Coming into next year, we're going to do some extra little fundraising pieces on the side in order to try to further create more money that we can donate to St. Jude. And in that piece, there's going to be some special prizes for the guys that raise money and those kind of things. They do that same thing on the bass boat side, and they call it fishing for the kids, and they usually raise between $150,000 and $200,000 a year just in that fundraising arm of that tournament. So hopefully we can get to that kind of a place as well in the future. So I know Justin is trying to fix the technology side of all this. Yes, technology. Don't you just love it? It's always fun. So he's working hard on the opposite side. Hopefully he's going to get this fixed and we can get it running. We want to get Mark and Chuck on here and talk to them a little bit about the tournament at Pickwick this weekend. Like I said, I didn't go because I needed to work. I needed to give Teresa a break. So, and I was very, very happy as I looked at everybody's post and everything going on with everybody, and they were all wet and freezing, and fishing was tough. And fishing was tough across the board. It wasn't just on the kayak guys. I think it only took 10 pounds to get a check in the BFL with 200 boats or 150 boats. Peanut Craft on day 2, it only took about 12 pounds to win. I think Peanut Craft on the same day, it only took 12 or 13 pounds to win that one, I think. And I know 10 or 11 was top 10, top 5. Same thing with West Tennessee Pole Jumpers on Sunday. They had a very similar result with 12.5 winning it and about 10 or 11 pounds getting you in the top 5 there. So, and those are 2-man teams. So I mean, it was a tough weekend over there at Pickwick. There's a crap ton of water. I keep seeing more and more pictures of all the water running down the lake, and it's steadily filling up. So, hopefully, that'll kind of filter down this warm weather we've been having this week. I don't even know what water levels are at Pickwick. I haven't looked at it this week at all, but I think it's still pretty high from everybody I've talked to, but I haven't checked it or what the schedule is for that as well. But, if the water, with it being as warm as it's been in the last couple of days, if it's going to continue to warm up, that water stays up in those trees, there will be a good flipping bite coming up. So, Bay Springs has risen 5 feet. Yep, Pickwick is still in the 4. Good Lord, 417 and a half, 417, 416. Still high. Hey, Justin, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Wow. I don't know. No words.
It would not be lines in without a technological issue.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to change that up, but somehow it always just comes back and bite me. You know what? AT&T, don't buy into that, because that fiber optic stuff is not the fastest, because it ain't working for me.
Yeah, well,
let's get.
It's always something.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get these guys in, man. I know they've been waiting
All
a little bit. That way, in case I lose it again. What is up, guys?
Hey, Chuck. Hey, Mark. How are y'all?
Hey, man. What's going on, guys?
Hey, guys. We got Mr. Mark Davis with us tonight and Chuck Smith. Two of the guys that figured it out on Pickwick Lake this last weekend, man. Congratulations to both of you guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely. Sorry, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty there, but we're back up running good. So we want to dive into this, talk a little bit about this tournament. man, I want to hear a little bit about you guys. A lot of us, a lot of people that listen to this podcast, are guys that we fish with in WTBY, but we got some people that don't. But I want to dive into you two individually just to kind of get to know you a little bit more. That way, our viewers can understand where you come from and all that kind of stuff. So, David, Mark, I'm gonna throw it to you first, buddy. What's your background with fishing, man, and just kind of how you got going in the kayak deal?
So I've been fishing my whole entire life. Uh, my dad got me into fishing, from the time I was a little kid. So watching Bill dance, that was my thing. Uh, I got into the bass boat world. A buddy of mine, while I was in the army, got me, addicted to bass fishing. I was his co-angler. He'd run the boat, and I'd run be the co-angler, and we'd team up and we fished the Mark Twain. A couple of small tournaments there, and when we did that, um, it was weird. We would get on a bite occasionally, but it was never together. We'd get on that bite. So, uh, after I moved down to Memphis, the Army transferring me, I just couldn't make the bass boat thing work.
Yeah,
And I ran across the West Tennessee Bass Yackers, and I was like, "Wow, this is really cool." So I popped in a 9 foot ocean. I don't even remember what it's called. A little bitty 9 foot kayak. Put a
oh,
seat in
the
it.
old sea dolphins.
Yeah, something like that. Little 9 foot thing, and I got addicted. Um, got out to the local lake there, Glen Springs, and uh, a couple of other little local lakes, and I was fishing that stuff. And then I got to fishing with the West Tennessee Bass Shackers, and I was totally addicted. And
Yeah,
then I upgraded a couple of times and to what I'm at now, and because of the camaraderie and the great guys that are at kayak, at the WTBY. It's amazing to be able to go out and hang out with a great group of guys, and go out and fish, have a good time, then get together at the end of it. Occasionally I get lucky and win a tournament or two, and I mean that's enjoyable.
occasionally. That's
Yeah.
look at him trying to
Occasionally,
be
every time.
humble.
Uh, I have not won Angler of the Year, so I don't have that curse on me yet. So maybe
Hey,
I'll end up with that curse after
don't
this
put that
year.
on me,
So,
Ricky Bobby.
well, I mean, the guys are what makes it worthwhile. Last year I wasn't able to fish as many WTBY events as I have in the past. Living in Birmingham, but this year I'm all in on what WTBY. Um, and
Sweet.
coming up, you know, to do my best and to hang out with the guys because y'all got me in this and y'all are gonna pay for it now.
Literally.
Well, we saw you cherry pick last year. You come up to Kentucky Lake, and then you come up to Pickwick, and then everything else. But man,
Pickwick was my worst tournament all 3 times. I think we fished it 3 times last year, and
yeah,
you know, finishing fifth or sixth. I mean, that's good, but um, that's a drive. The 2.5 hour drive, though it is closer for me to drive that than it is to like our next one at Pine Lake.
yeah.
That's a 4 hour drive, but
You're
I
down. You're
you
down
know
around Birmingham now, aren't you? Around that area.
yeah, I'm a little
Gotcha.
bit north of Birmingham, so
Okay.
but I love it. I can't get
Oh
enough of it,
yeah. I
and
mean, you're right there.
the guys make it worthwhile. That's what really brings me back up there.
Yeah. I tell you what, if I lived down that way, I'd be going out to that Coosa River a ton. That place is beautiful. But
I've fished it quite a bit. Not as much this year. Um, with the water being up and the creeks blown out right now, it's a little tough. So,
yeah,
uh, um, they had a rough tournament down here with one of the local clubs. I didn't go fish it, but I watched it. I think 50 inches, 49 inches won it. I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't what normal lake type deal is. So
Yeah. Chuck, what about you, buddy? You've been with the club for a few years now, man, and you know you're kind of starting to gain that reputation as a guy who knows what he's doing on Pickwick. So had won it last year, or at least one of the times we were there, you won it, and you come on this year, you got second place, got the year going good. So tell us a little bit about you, man, how you got going with it, and all that stuff.
Man. First of all, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it, man. I love what you guys are doing, and that you went for this, Justin. It's awesome.
It's been a collective me and David, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. I know I love watching you guys for sure. Honestly, man, my story's a lot like Mark's. My dad got me into fishing when I was very young, and a lot of bank fishing. And he actually fished a couple of tournaments when I was probably middle school or so, and really got into bass fishing there for a bit as a co-angler. And man, I was fascinated with it. He introduced me to a bait caster, and I took it out in the driveway and completely snowballed that sucker 4,000 or 5,000 times. But I don't know why. I just really loved it. And, continue to fish through high school from the bank, got into college, and believe it or not, went to University of Tennessee, and we started the first ever Bassmaster Club up there.
Oh, wow.
We fished one tournament in a John boat against one other boat, and then my buddy who started it with me had a run-in with Wild Turkey 101 and ended up not sticking around very long. So that was it. But we started it. But, I came back to Memphis, moved here for FedEx, right after college. And, man, I kind of was looking for something to do around here, fishing related, and found West Tennessee Elite Bass Club that as a co-angler, boat club, local boat club, and love those guys, but they kind of went to a team format and kind of cut out the co-anglers. So I'd always looked for a boat, just couldn't make it happen for the budget that I have. And then one of my buddies, Chris Thomasmeyer, who's also a member, he just doesn't fish with us, he kind of introduced me to kayak fishing, and he constantly was talking about it. He was talking saltwater. And then I, like most people, saw Chad Hoover at KBF and looked up that stuff and got in an online tournament, saw WTBY, and was I think I immediately went to a big box store at Academy, bought me a kayak, and was in it next week, man. I had no idea what I was doing. I blanked the first 4 tournaments, but I've been hooked ever since, man, for about 4 or 5 years now, I think.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I like at first when you said you're talking about that bass boat club, you were saying elite. At first, I thought you were talking about West Tennessee Bass Yackers. So if Matt and Brandon are talking, we need to throw that in there. West Tennessee Elite Bass Yackers.
Yeah.
I like it, man. It's got a ring.
Yeah.
maybe we need to bring home that state trophy this year, and then we can get away with throwing that in there.
There you go.
You got to win the state to call yourself elite, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, man, I'm glad y'all are here, dude. I love the stories. We're all friends. We've gotten to hang out and talk and stuff. But you sometimes miss that backstory on people. So that's why I like to ask that question, man. It's always awesome to hear how people got in. Just saying a few what's ups to people in the comments. We got Brandon Palmer from Proteus Rods. What's up, dude? David Walker, they're in there talking about St. Clair and everything else that we're not talking about, but glad to see you guys. Charles Breckenridge watching Bill dance. There you go. So thank you all for tuning in tonight, man. It's great to be on here talking with our guys. But David, you were talking a little bit about the conditions. Tell us a little bit about what Pickwick was this weekend. I know you were paying attention a lot.
It was high, and it was running really, really fast, and there was a ton of current in a lot of places. I wasn't there, but I knew what the conditions were. I've read this stuff enough off the TVA app over the years, and then talking to other people, and and it's still high. It's still at 417 today. Now
Mhm.
it's fixing to start the downward spiral. It's going to be half a foot tomorrow, half a foot the day after, and once it starts on that spiral, it's going to go down fast. Assuming that we don't get a crap ton of more rain, like it looks like we're going to get this weekend. But I mean,
Oh,
as long as it stays in that 414, 415 range for the next couple of days, next week, even with it falling, as warm as the weather as we're getting,
yeah.
man, I wish I had a chance to get over there and go flip a few bushes in the next couple of days. Because now it's cleaning up a little bit. Them fish are going to get right. I guarantee you could go smoke some bigs in the next day or so.
Oh yeah, man.
So,
I've been thinking on a smaller level. Been thinking about Herb Parsons. That
actually,
little lake, man. This probably came up quite a bit. So
I was gonna go there today, but I had a kayak installed that I thought I was doing on Thursday, and he showed up at 1:30 today, just before I got ready to leave. So I've been doing a trolling motor install today instead. So
oh
we'll
gosh.
get there before the week's over.
Well, so Mark Davis took home the win, and Chuck topped out with second. Do you guys remember if we had any other limits in this tournament?
There was one other limit.
Okay.
Jason
Yeah.
Carr
Yep.
had a limit, and he ended up with I think it was 43 inches. Um, and there were a lot of guys that were, that had two fish. So, I think we had, 14 out of the 26 caught fish. So,
Yeah.
turned into a scoreable fish. So,
Well, I know you guys, Mark. I definitely know, what your style is. Chuck, I've heard a little bit about what you've done, and I'm not going to spoil it. But it's interesting because you two guys, I kind of know you as somewhat as finesse fishermen, especially Mark. 12-pound line, Texas rig, little speed crawl. So, Mark, going into this tournament, dude, you knew the conditions. You know Tennessee River. What was your thoughts going into it? What was your game plan?
So honestly, I had two rods rigged. I had one rigged with the Texas rig with the speed crawl, and the other one was rigged with a Strike King. Wow, I can't even remember what you call it now. Rattle trap.
Oh yeah, red eye
Red eye
shad.
shad. In the crawfish pattern, because I figured the muddy water, that was going to be, a possibility of a bite. And of course, I went to a place where I always go, and I was shocked at how high the water was. Even though I knew the water was going to be high, I mean, when I pulled in the parking lot, and I went to turn around, I was like, I cannot even get close to the ramp. So, I was dropping my kayak off where I normally load everything up after I've come out of the water. So, um, when I got there, I went to my couple of places I normally go to that I get some bites, and nothing happened. And I was like, yeah, I'm freezing to death, and I've been here an hour. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how far you want me to go, because I can turn around. I can tell you, I went all the way back up in a creek where the water was gin clear, and it was 44 degrees.
Oh, well, what was on the main lake for you? Where you're at? What was the water
Where I
temps on
was
the main lake?
I was probably it was 48 degrees, and I was probably I don't know. I never, in the area I go, I don't go far from the ramp. I mean, I'm talking I'm 100 yards from the ramp max.
Yeah.
And of course, we had the BFL going on, so the place I was jam packed with boats. Probably 12 was the most at one time.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
Well, I want to throw this question at you. Right before tournament day, they threw a curveball at us, and they cut the boundaries off to where we were not able to get on the main lake at all. And for anybody listening, this happens. this time of year when we get this massive amount of rain, there's a lot of water pumping through these rivers, and tournament directors in the kayak scene, they're left with a pretty difficult decision to make on whether or not to amend those boundaries and play it safe, or leave it up to the guys to just be as safe as they can. And I think they made a good decision on amending those boundaries. And basically, what it boiled down to was we were not allowed to get out on the main river at all. It's a treacherous body of water. It can be at times. So good call to them. So did that alter your plan at all? You said this place you go pretty frequently. Were you intending to get out on the main river at all?
Well, I had planned. Last year I fished the Alabama Bass Nations kayak division event there, and I fished the normal spots that I did. But I had a buddy, Jesse Haverson. He showed me a couple of things out there, and it was right outside the mouth of the creek, and I was like, that's one of the areas I want to hit. And then when they put the clamps on us and said we couldn't go out there, I was like, wow, I'm not going to be able to get to those big old smallies. So I'm gonna have to squeak out a limit, and then I wasn't expecting to find what I found. So I squeaked out. To be honest with you, by 8:30, I was like, man, this day is not going to be good. So I didn't even head out towards those areas because I knew it was going to be closed off.
Yeah.
And then you got the bass boats out there, and they're running for that BFL thing. So I was like, I'll just pull up in this little cove and just sit here.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like you got into a little something that maybe is a little bit better than you thought. Did you find a school of them? Did you, was it some kind of current break? Come on, Mark. We want the juice, brother.
Right, so,
you don't get the tight lip on this show, son.
Okay, so I don't remember.
I'm just kidding. We don't have to pull your strings.
Hey, that's okay, man. That's okay. So I don't know if you remember fishing Bossier City, the national championship down there.
Yeah.
For KBF. Okay. So I'll just shoot you straight. I'm sitting in this little cove that's out of the wind, and the water is actually kind of calm, and it's so far up that the trees that we're normally looking at aren't anywhere close to the water. So I was like, well, whatever. I just kind of honestly, I felt like I was pulling a Russell moment. I threw my bait way up there on a tree, and it hit the tree, and it dropped right in front of it. Hit the tree dead square in the center, dropped right in the middle of it, and I let it sit there. And then I pulled my hands up, and I had some hand heaters inside my gloves, and I pulled my hands up like this, and my gloves are out, and I'm just kind of holding on to the rod, in my arm, and kind of just slowly letting it sit there. And I slowed down. I thought I was Matt Skelton fishing there for a minute, because I was dragging that real slow across the bottom. And that's when I got my first bite, and I missed the first 3 bites I got, but I kept throwing back to the same spot. And when I pulled, when I set the hook on this one, it was an 18, and measured him, took a picture of him, and then I turned around and threw right back in the spot, and it was I got the next fish, and it was a 14.25. I was like, man, this is pretty good. Well, a bass boat was sitting back behind me, probably about 50 yards off of me, right where the ramp is, and he was looking at me. So he comes over to where the trees are that break around this little point, and his co-angler, I noticed he starts throwing a big, huge, black and blue, some kind of creature bait. I don't know if it was a rage craw or not, but it was big.
Yeah.
I'm throwing a speed craw. There's a lot of difference between them two, but he throws that sucker up there, and he pulls out a nice little, probably about 2.5 pounder. And then while I'm sitting there watching him, he pulls out another fish doing the same thing I'm doing. And I'm like, okay, well, it's time to change baits. So I bumped up to a rage crawl and started throwing it just like I was down in Bossier City, hitting that tree dead square in the center, letting it slide all the way down and
Yeah.
waiting. And that's how I put my limit up. I upgraded 3 times. I had a lot of bites considering the conditions.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that you didn't just catch 3 because I mean, just putting up a limit in general on that day during those conditions, it is definitely worth noting. Chuck, man, I kind of have a little bit of an idea, or at least I know where you fished in the past. We won't mention no names. What was your water clarity like in the area that you fished? And again, you don't have to say where it was, but did you have muddy water, or did you have any kind of clarity at all?
Yeah, I did have clear water, and I was shocked by it, to be honest. I thought that I would show up at my ramp, and I actually thought that the creek wasn't going to be pushing into that area. I figured that the flow would actually be pushing back into that creek, and it was exactly the opposite. So where this creek comes in, it wasn't gin clear, but it was more like chalky green, which I actually like that better than super gin clear. So I was excited about that. But just like Mark, I went to the normal spots that I hit, and I just didn't get any bites to start my day. In fact, I didn't get a bite. And my water temps were around 45 to start the day in that water. And as I moved not out towards Maine, there's like an island kind of in the area that separates this pocket from a long shelf and then the main lake. And I had at about 7:30 or so, and that should give you an idea of kind of how far south I was. The boat world shows up, and they lined up on the outside of that island, which was off limits for us. And I'm just dying. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, they're gonna wear them out over there, because that's normally where I fish. They're gonna wear them out over there, and I'm just gonna have to sit here and watch it. And I actually never got close enough to see if they were catching anything, but I got a couple of bites on the inside side of that on a Cinco, which I love fishing a Cinco. It's kind of my go-to, and but I couldn't get the hook set on them. It was very light bites, tap, 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 and nothing. And I just couldn't replicate the bite. I couldn't get a pattern, and that water was a lot muddier, and I kind of moved back in to where that creek was, and where that water was a little less dingy, a little more chalky. And man, I got up in some cut grass and had a friend call, and almost just like Mark, where he was saying he had his hands up, I kind of put my hands up and I threw out a drop shot, and I had it sitting there, and I was like, I'm just going to take this call. And I left it sitting there for a little bit, and I would just pop it every once in a while, pop, pop.
Yeah.
And normally I'm just like, come on,
Yeah.
And man, I wasn't like a minute into that conversation. I'm like, hold on, I got a bite, and I hooked into one. And I was like, okay, I think I might know something here. And sure enough, man, I worked my way around this little pocket and left it sitting there almost dead sticking. I hate doing it, but the longer I left it there, the more bites I got. And I probably got about 5 or 6 bites. They were hard to set the hook on, but I finally scratched out 3, and that was my day.
So were they hard to set the hook on because you were frozen solid, or just because the bites were a little tough?
Man, a little bit of that. Hey, I want to give a shout out though, real quick. I know you do this at the end, but Robert Palmer, Little Miami Outfitters. He kind of gave me and Russell one of these, what is it? Net Gators. And they're long. They're really good wicking. And I know, everybody has their net gator, but man, this thing really worked out. I really, really appreciate him for hooking me up with that. So I don't know if they sell them on the site or if that's just a special gift from him, but I appreciate it. And if you're looking for something to keep you warm, and I think it keeps you cool too, man, check him out for that.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. He's posted today. He's selling his rods out the store pretty good. I know David sells them really well there as well.
Yeah, I got to buy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I definitely like it. I got one of the white ones. It's a little bit thicker. Than some of the ones that you traditionally get. It's pretty warm. But I'm the world's worst at putting those things on. I always forget them, and then I pay for it at the end of the day. But,
absolutely.
Dude,
So I'm sitting out there, and I mean, this was a repeat of Toledo Bend, and I'm texting AJ like, dude, this sucks, man. I'm like, I'm about to sell it all and go home. I couldn't feel my fingers. Admittedly, at day one of Toledo, I was very ill prepared for the weather. And I was like, man, I got to quit like an hour before it was over. And I feel like horrible about that. And I was like, I'm not doing it. I refused to quit. Not doing it today. And it was still as cold as Toledo, if not colder.
I think colder.
I'm betting on colder.
I think it was air temp, but that wind was brutal at Toledo for sure.
Yeah, it may have been where you were at, but where I was at, dude, I was getting slammed with that wind, and it wasn't letting up. And it's funny a lot. And I know I talked to a few guys at the check-in, and they said they didn't bring any rain gear with them because it was not forecasting rain at all week, and the day before leading up, it said like 10% chance. And so, I mean, I've gotten to the point where I always leave it in my truck, no matter what. I've dealt with the weatherman many times and know he's a liar. So I just leave it in the truck. But
one job you can have to be wrong 80% of the time and keep your job.
Yeah. And make a killing.
Yeah, he was dead wrong.
The first couple little drops hit my. Yeah, the first couple of drops hit my jacket. I'm like, okay, that's all right. I'll give you that, And then and after that, it just kept coming and coming and coming. But, dude, so did the amendment of the boundaries did that change your plan at all?
It really didn't. I rarely fish Main Lake. If I do, it's a bluff wall here or there, and I may peek around the corner. But I'm usually keeping it fairly shallow. At the most, it would be a mouth of a creek, and it just didn't play where I was at. I would have liked to have been on the other side of that island just to see what was over there, but I don't know how much better I would have done, to be honest.
Yeah. How many fish did you? Bless you over there. How many fish did you end up with for the day, Chuck? Total.
I only hooked into 3.
Oh, okay.
I only got 3 to. I mean, I got several bites. I just couldn't get him to take the bait, the lure.
Let me ask you this: you said you like to throw a Cinco a lot. Did you drop shot a Cinco quite a bit, or what did you kind of start off with? And was that?
I don't. I Nico rig it.
Okay.
I think it's Nico rig where you're putting the nail weight in the end.
Yeah. And
shout out to Swagger Tungsten. Got some good stuff. I'll put that in the end, and sometimes I'll wacky rig that. This time though, I'm kind of coming into the tail and hooking it through, but I leave it inside it so it doesn't snag up in the grass, and I can throw that thing anywhere.
Yeah,
and not get hungry.
After when you were getting your short strikes, initially, did you downsize at all?
I did not, and I should have. Like looking back, when I was getting the strikes on the Cinco, it actually wasn't the Yamamoto Cinco. It was a big bite Cinco, okay. Which the big stick. That's like that's 6 and 7 inch long. I was going for the big bite. I figure if I'm going to come out here, I'm going to swing for the fence. Yeah. And man, they weren't committing to that big stuff, and I had a little bit heavier weight in there too. And it was shooting down too quick, and I don't think they really liked that either. When I switched to that drop shot, it got down there, and I just kind of left it and would pop it every once in a while, and that was the ticket.
There you go. Well, hey, we're going to take a real quick short break, guys. Would have done this a little bit earlier, but since we had those technical difficulties, but we're going to take a little quick commercial break from our sponsors, and we'll be right back, guys.
Outdoor World. Battleborn Batteries designs and assembles the industry's top choice for lithium-ion batteries right here in the USA. Reliable, safe, and long-lasting, Battleborn makes for the sustainable and lightweight drop-in replacement for traditional lead-acid batteries. Ready to make the switch to lithium and the switch to green energy? All batteries are in stock now. Shop today at battlebornbatteries.com.
Oh, heck.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there we go. I hear you. Justin?
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're working on it.
No worries.
Oh. While we're waiting, we got Silly Pints back in again in a bunch of different colors, including the new glow-in-the-dark one that says Get Lit, which is a really cool one. So come by and check those out, too. We'll take my commercial time, Justin. Chuck, Mark, can y'all hear us?
Yeah, man, I got you.
All right, they're on here. Well, congratulations to both of y'all on figuring it out. I mean, you know, it's always fun. I mean, to see who figures it out on a day-to-day basis, and you know, to hear what you did in order to grind that out. And I mean, but y'all know me. I get frustrated at times, and I do stupid things. But we'll get there one way or another most of the time. So,
yeah. Mark, did you are you using a motor?
No, not
No.
yet.
Okay.
No, I have a setup that I'm working to put on the back of the boat, but right now it's pedal power, and for that tournament I didn't need, but the pedal power because I ain't gonna lie, I was 50 foot from the ramp, and I got out of the water at 10:30, got in the truck and warmed up, and then got back in the boat at 11 o'clock.
Dude, that's awesome.
that would have been a nice little perk on that day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think my feet have ever been as cold as that, and I was in Alaska for 3 years, so.
Oh my word!
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I know day one at Toledo Bend, when by the time I got back to the boat ramp, one of my feet had gotten wet and one of my hands had gotten wet, and I literally could not make my hand do this anymore. I was having to do it with the other hand, and my foot was so numb when I got out of the water that it tingled for a good 20 minutes after I got out of the water.
Oh yeah, brutal.
It was bad. So I'd had enough of cold weather. I was not coming.
Probably the funniest thing I've heard, that I read was, what Trent Harris posted was I died 3 times that
day. Yeah.
I was like, I felt like it. I mean, it was cold, it was miserable, but and I was more concerned about Justin putting up a big limit. And then I thought you were fishing it too, David. So I was like, man, 51 inches is not going to win this thing. I need a big kicker. And I just couldn't find that fish. I mean, You know, of my upgrades, the biggest one was 15.75. So
I'm assuming Ashley took big fish for the day. He had the 20-incher.
he did. He got a 20 and a half.
Yeah. If Ashley's going to bring a fish to the weigh-in, it's going to be a big fish.
Yeah.
The man don't bring in a 12-incher.
I don't. Has he ever caught a 12-inch fish? If he doesn't bring an 18 or larger, he doesn't come to the table.
Yeah, we were talking earlier today. I mean, he definitely fishes, for 3 big fish, and you can do that in our tournaments, our club tournaments. I mean, because it's just 3 fish. You can go out and fish the way that you feel like you need to catch 3 big bites. Guys, I want to say a couple of apologies to you both tonight for all these technical difficulties. Man, this is I'm embarrassed, and I apologize for that. Apologize for the listeners tonight. We're gonna work on that, get that better. So, man, good stuff, dude. I was about to say before we lost you, before y'all lost me. Chuck? I know that you've added a motor to your boat. How did that play in? For you with this tournament? I know you use it at Toledo and stuff. Are you liking it?
Oh man, I could get really used to that for sure. I didn't think it would make that big a difference, but just getting from spot to spot, I usually stay on the pedals for for when I'm fishing. I just think it's easier and I have more control. But there are a couple times when I was like, they're not here. Maybe I can go all the way to the other end of my little area, and it's a little area, but it's still probably a good 3/4 of a mile to go to the other end of it. And I just hammered down with that Newport, and I got over there quick, man. It's awesome. It makes like the decision on whether or not I need to make an adjustment a little easier. So
no, there is no decision there. I'm going. Yeah, for sure. Mark, you said that you're looking to you're add something to your rig as well.
Yeah, I've got one. I've got a setup that I'm working on. I just haven't mounted it yet.
Okay.
Probably going to be this week, and then that way I can test it before we get to Pine.
Yeah.
But with Pine, I'm not, where I fish on Pine, I don't go that far either. So,
yeah.
Where it'll help me is, maybe Kentucky Lake, because I got a little run from the ramp. So, some of the bigger lakes, I think it'll help. May help at beach, depending on what the wind's gonna do.
It's always doing something there.
Is.
Yeah.
So.
But
yeah, I look forward to actually putting it on there and scooting across the lake that way, and not being so wore out when I get to the fishing spot.
There you go. Definitely conserve that injury for where it counts. I want to ask you guys both, man. We got some pretty awesome tournaments coming up on the schedule this year. Chuck, I'm going to throw it to you first, buddy. Which one are you looking forward to the most?
Ooh, the most. I mean, I'll always look forward to Browns. That's probably a top 3, but this probably come to surprise a lot of people, but I want some revenge on Kentucky Lake. I'm on a drought. I'm on a 0-4 drought with that lake. To even sniff a bite, it's embarrassing. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting up there and figuring that out. There's a lot of other national events up there too, coming up at the end of the year. So I think that I'm just kind of looking forward to figuring that place out a little bit more.
I got you. Well, Mark's excited about Kentucky Lake.
Yeah.
So Mark, that being said, that there are we got the state championship there this year, as well as the KBF national championship is going back to Kentucky Lake. Are you planning on fishing KBF stuff to qualify for that? Or are you, because I know Kentucky Lake, you've had a lot of success on there.
I'll be honest with you. I did not know that the NC was going to be at Kentucky Lake, and it really depends on the time frame. You know, we kind of dropped KBF, you know, because of the NC and the state championship, and I believe in the the grassroots organizations, because that's what started all this giant kayak movement. So it depends. I mean, I would love it if it was 3 weeks right in a row. We had the state championship, the NC, and then maybe the bass is on the 9th. So yeah, I really look forward to Kentucky Lake. There's a lot of events coming up, and I'm really looking to see if I can continue what success I've had there. There's a lot of spots on Kentucky Lake to catch some fish. So
there are. We know David's excited about Kentucky Lake coming up.
I plan on giving Mark a run for his money on this one.
Brother, do it. Bring it on. Hey, let's just get together and we'll hit both spots.
No. I've kept this spot a secret for about 15 years. I'm doing my absolute best to keep it secret.
I'm going to slip an Apple tracker on it, buddies. We're going to figure this thing out.
Well, no, you're not, Chuck, because David's not going to leave the house until like 11 o'clock. You'll be at the ramp and all that kind of stuff.
I probably won't get on the water until 8 or 8:30.
Wow.
It's that time of year to get in there until about 9 o'clock, because they don't start biting in that area till 10 or 11.
Yeah, he's rolling out of bed and stretching his legs by the time you're making your first cast. So,
well, hey, what we have to keep in mind is it is a WTBY event, and I don't think we have ever went there when there was not some kind of crazy weather going on, whether it was extremely hot or extremely cold with extreme winds and sleet, snow, rain.
Hopefully we got that tournament out of the way, that the sleet and rain and all that kind of stuff, at least in the early part of the year, but no, I think that, I haven't double checked this, so don't quote me on it, but I think that the NC is scheduled on top of the state championship.
Probably.
So that was the rumor. It is, Chuck?
Yep.
So, I don't know how that'll play, if people will be able to double dip into that, but
I may be looking at double dipping. I mean, the opportunity, all it takes is having a day like I had during the Hobie, and it could be, 2 days like I had at the Hobie. I mean, that's a big deal. So
absolutely. Yeah, we'll see. I know there's going to be a lot of people on the lake during that week. So,
there won't be 764.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, if it's downscaled over the years since that 860 something people on Kentucky Lake. I still run into people occasionally that, ask about my kayak or something. Like, man, there was, 800 something people on Kentucky Lake, about a few years ago. Like, yeah, I remember that. But, well, man, I'm excited for the rest of this year. I'm excited. I'm excited that we had 26 people show up to fish Pickwick Lake. That's awesome for those conditions, and it being the first tournament of the year. I honestly, wasn't expecting that. So that's good to hear. And I want to, while we have people on here, I want to remind everybody that I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I think we had some issues during that. So the St. Jude Kayak Classic is going on this year. It's the first annual, first of its kind, but joining the ranks of a 48-year long, very successful tournament, the St. Jude Bass Classic. So me and David have been working with the Mr. Steve Cook to get that all organized. We're really excited about it. So, man, tell your friends, tell everybody, help us spread the word. We can get some good participation going for that and for a really good cause. There's going to be some good prizes. Got some great sponsors with S.Y. Wilson and Primary and Hobie, and hopefully some others are going to join the ranks as well. So it's going to be a great event. May 29th on Enid Lake. So guys, be sure to plan for that. AJ Hansen, what's up, dude? Man, like to see you guys in the comments. Ashley, how you doing, buddy? I want to just kind of close out the conversation piece on Pickwick Lake. Both you guys have had some really good success there, and I'm glad to see you guys coming back and doing really well there again. You got anything else you want to add about kind of maybe some tips, techniques, something that maybe you clued into that helped you catch your fish? I know we try to add some educational content in here to help these people, because those on the water adjustments are real big and real key. So Mark, I'm gonna throw it at you. Anything that you can throw in there that can maybe help some people with something that you did that helped you catch your fish?
Okay, so the biggest thing I'll tell somebody is pay attention to what's going on around you. I watched a lot of bass boats. I saw folks throwing top water. I saw folks throwing spinner baits. I saw folks throwing drop shots, all that stuff. And, at the end of the day, none of them were catching fish. So when I was starting to question myself on my plan, I kept going back to, previous experience of, this is going to work. Don't change your plan if you're not seeing, if I'm not seeing somebody, that's throwing a buzz bait right up next to those trees and not getting any bites, I'm not going to change that and go to a buzz bait. Now, that's the biggest thing. Study, know what you're going to fish, stick to your plan. Occasionally changing things up will, can help you out, but most of the time, you can end up hurting yourself along the way. So, stick to what you like to do, enjoy it. Even though it's colder than crap, I had a great time, especially when I got to go sit there and eat some wings and talk with the guys. It made it a whole lot of, it made that cold weather, it made it a whole lot of fun. So.
That's good stuff. Chuck, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, man. Biggest thing for me on Pickwick is, and let me correct one thing I said earlier. I was talking about my motor. I caught my fish within about 100 yards of the bank of the ramp as well. You don't need a motor to come out and fish with these guys and on Pickwick and on big water, which leads to what I would say is fish your strength and fish it small. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to an area, man, whittle that down to a small area, like 100, 200 yards of the best in that area, and start there. Don't get caught up in the size of the water. And that tree looks good before I go to my sweet spot. Go straight to your sweet stuff. Hit it hard. Hit it, with a couple different baits that aren't working. Really wear it out, and then fish it. Just fish it small. But if you haven't been bit, move a little bit, even if it's just a little bit. Move. I learned my lesson from that. I continue to learn my lesson from that, especially at Toledo Bend. If I would have moved, I would have caught fish. Period. I just didn't. So those are my two biggest things.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and it kind of tends into the conversation I've had with some people before about, when you're in a bass boat, you have that tendency to pull the trolling motor up, hit that 250 and go to the next spot and not even blink an eye about it. But even in a kayak, it's almost the exact opposite. I mean, we can truly take full benefit of being able to dissect an area, but
Right.
that can also hurt you too, because then you dissect an area for too long, because you're looking at, the time frame to get back to the ramp, or to get to that other area. And in that case, the motor helps for sure. I'm glad that Cast, changed up the rules on that. But man, excellent point, because you tend to know pretty quick or kind of get the gist of whether or not, it's going to be happening in that area pretty quick. I mean, the fish, a lot like us. Either we're hungry or we're not hungry. You know, you can put a chicken sandwich in front of my face all day long, but I'm not going to bite it until I'm hungry. You know, you got reaction strikes and stuff, but you know, I can say from in my case, some of the best days I've had, it just happened really quick. It wasn't like you had to work real hard for it.
Right.
So man, good stuff, dude. Glad to have you guys on, man. Great talking with you all. Chuck, any last words? Anybody that you want to thank or shout out you want to give?
I'd be crazy if I didn't thank my wife for taking care of my 3 kids and allowing me to just get out of the house and clear my mind and do this passionate thing that I love. So she's actually with my kids tonight at a basketball game and allowed me to come do this. So I appreciate her very much. TFO Rods, if you hadn't checked them out, man, give them a look. I'm not sponsored by them, but I do have a promotional discount. But I'm telling you, man, they're great stuff. Check them out.
Good stuff. Mark, what about you, bud?
Hey, I'd like to thank Kistler Rods, Titan Tungsten. You know, Matt makes some doggone really good jigs. Caught a lot of fish on those flat water fishing jigs. I want to thank my wife because she forces me to go fishing a lot of times. Hey, I mean, she's the one who says, yeah, you need to go do this, because I was questioning. I saw the weather coming. I was like, yeah, I don't feel like fishing cold, but you know, she kind of forced me out, and I got up early and I still went and did it, and I enjoyed it. So, you know, thanks to my wife, Judy, for, you know, pushing me out the door and making me go do what I love to do.
Well, guys, I want to say that, you know, Mark is a testament to you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
So congrats to both of you. Great job this weekend. You know,
Or something. So
there we go.
He's back.
I was saying closing thoughts, man. I was about to shut it down.
You were saying he's a testament to a Zoom speed crawl.
Yeah. Zoom, you're listening. The man throws more speed crawls than anybody combined. No, I was emphasizing the guy's a testament to the camaraderie and just the awesomeness of his club, man. He moved forward.
Oh, you're back. You're back.
I'm done. Done.
I love it. Thanks for having me on, man.
I'm sorry, guys. I mean, I'm. This is ridiculous.
Okay, brother. Hey, man, it's technology. It goes in and out.
Yeah,
hey,
no doubt.
Thanks for having us
Sure.
on.
Man, love it, dude.
I've enjoyed it.
Absolutely, definitely. David, I owe you a visit, man. I gotta.
Oh, you're fine. Hey, I want to say something about motors. I am personally happy for trolling motors being on kayaks because I've seen more fins damaged in the last 3 weeks than I've seen in months.
Absolutely brutal. I've been them out and straightened them 4 times already.
That's why I like my propeller.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, man, y'all have a good night, and we'll see you guys at Pine. Y'all take care.
Be good, y'all.
Y'all have a good one.
Oh man, let's see if we can close this thing out without losing it again, or at least on my end.
So hopefully so.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you all for tuning in with us tonight. Again, this is Lines In Live, powered by Battleborn Batteries and presented by Primary Tackle. We're very thankful and fortunate for our great sponsors, and we greatly appreciate them and their support. Thank all of you for tuning in, despite the craziness going on, the technical junk. But I just want to throw out there, we're going to have our next guest coming on next Tuesday is Adam James to come on and I'm sorry, Adam Reiser. I don't know, my mind's Adam Reiser, he's going to be coming on and talking to us about his new guiding service out of a kayak. So I'm looking forward to talking with him. So, guys, we will see you next week. Y'all take care. Good night, and we'll see you next time.
Be good,
Peace.
y'all.